So, you got your LS motor situated in your vehicle now, and you're figuring out the fueling system. Well, what I'm about to show you guys is an affordable and reliable way to get the 58 to 60 psi you need to run most of these swaps. Now, I'm going to be forthcoming with you. This isn't the best setup if you have forced induction of any sort, nitrous, supercharged turbo. In those cases, you're probably going to want a dedicated in-tank pump with an auxiliary pump. That way you don't face any sort of unwanted detonation events. But if what you're looking for is a reliable system for your street cruiser, here we go.
Okay, so we're basing this setup off of this Amazon kit we got, which included the filter regulator, some line, and pretty much any fitting you're going to need to get this installed in your vehicle. As to the quality of the specific regulator filter, I can't speak to just yet, but it seems like everything is in order here to start putting this together. What doesn't come with the kit are O-rings, guys. Now, to me, these are important to add because they help ensure that you get a leak-free seal, essentially. The kit comes with fittings to put on the small and large side of the inlet and outlet of the filter regulator, which is pretty cool if, unlike me, you can figure out where they go. But yeah, they seem to be pretty quality, you guys. My only additional suggestion would be to perhaps snug them up with a wrench. That way you don't really have to worry about any kind of unforeseen leaks happening. But again, the machining on these fittings is pretty good, and they give you enough adapters to screw on here, depending on what angle you may need or what direction that you're trying to point your return line into, or what any of these lines for that matter. And it seems like a pretty complete kit. Like I said, again, minus the O-rings. Now, fitting wise, you have everything to run it to the return to the tank. They give you the fitting that pops into the filter itself, which is pretty useful if you ask me. Now, in this case, I think I'm going to run a straight line going into my feed and curve the return away so I can run that back along the other fuel rail back to the filler neck. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean in a moment about running into the filler neck. This whole setup is based off of a MasterPro MPE 16020 fuel pump, which is an inline, inexpensive pump. This fuel filter you see in my hand is the basic filter we're going to run before the pump, just to ensure nothing gets in there. But yeah, we will technically have two filters in line, which in my opinion is a win-win situation. As far as this hose here, you guys, they give you lots of it, and it seems to be great for mocking up, but the reviews say it's a no-no, because this hose swells up when it's exposed to petroleum or fuel, or so the reviews say. But it is great for cutting to use to mock up, so you know exactly how much line you will need if you plan on grabbing some quality line from the parts store while you're out. So here's our setup right here. As you can see, I have the return with the curve to go back along the opposite fuel rail. The inlet has a straight running in, and as you see, I have this outlet that's going to go directly to the fuel rail. Now, in addition to that, I'd recommend running only fuel injection rated clamps for this high pressure system, because just from my personal experience, I've had drips and leaks that I didn't really like. So you'll still have a few of the regular clamps before the pump on what I would consider the low pressure side, but I do have a couple regular clamps on the line right now further down just to hold things in place. But here's the pump, and here you can see that I have a regular clamp going back on this return line, which to me is low pressure, but I think I'm going to replace it with the high pressure clamp anyway. And on the bottom is the feed line coming from the fuel pump. This regulator, you guys might want to ground it as well, but then in addition, this just feeds forward. Here is where I have the return line going. Now, all I did was drill a hole and JB weld this fitting into the filler neck for my gas tank, and it works flawlessly. Again, to me, this is low pressure for right now. I just have a regular clamp on it. Here is the main fuel line going to the intake manifold, fuel rails, And I just have it going up through the front and running it back. And you'll see that I have it ran here with the fuel injection rated clamp directly bolted to the fuel rail. Checking for pressure. I figured we'd get this. We're a little high, right about 66, 67 psi. This regulator might not be that great, but I do have another one to try it out with. Oh, it seems to drop to 60 now. Okay, I guess we're in business. Sweet, okay. Now, before we do anything, I want to demonstrate. I have fuel pressure in the line, the pump is on, and all I'm doing is checking for leaks. Just leaks right now, guys. That way I don't have anything catching on fire, or I don't flood out the shop with fuel, like I did a few weeks ago. Success. Now, guys, from right now, I don't have any leaks. I'm getting 60 psi of pressure, which is fantastic. And it seems to be maintaining it, running really strong. Well, guys, as usual, I'm sorry this video was kind of short, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, y'all keep wrenching.